we're also considering the fact that hawkers have been blamed for creating mess on the street, creating excessive blockage. Some of them have taken over the pavements and even gone onto the road.
No,
so
it is true.
Tell me how this implementation is going to work. How are you going to manage this?
I'm saying it is true as you are putting it. But then you see, in everything, let's look at the context in which
we are
doing what we're doing. Because we just won't come up and say we want to do this or we want to do that. Actually, if you look at the way decongestion has been
done in the past, it has been too aggressive, you would say?
I would say not aggressive in the meaning, because you see, when
I see that you're short of words, but let me help
you. Yes, I'm short of words, but let me explain.
Under the administration of Asiedu-Dartey, people are forcefully removed, people are chased away. The Abaye concept has been very popular under the NDC.
Abaye has been there before Asiedu-Dartey. But then at a point in time, looking at what people are also saying, because we are in a liberal world, where actually everybody had to have some space to operate. But then, are we operating in the circumstances that we should do, whereby we are not infringing on other people's responsibility?
So that's what the AMA is going to. I'm going to have to go onto the telephone and speak to a local governance expert. But when we return, I want you to share with me specifically what you're going to do. For example, if you can use an example of one street, tell me how you're going to take off the hawkers from one street and put them on another street and how it will work. But right now, let's go onto the telephone lines. Mr. George Che Bafor is a local governance expert. He's on the telephone lines. Mr. Che Bafor, you're listening. I know that you are very keen on how local governance structures work in our country. For many people, they will say it is good news that the AMA has decided to be humane. It is going to allow hawkers to trade. Of course, it will come with regulations and limitations. They will have to work within specific confines. But nonetheless, do you think this is a good idea?
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve. Giving a human face to an exercise like this is certainly a good idea. And some of us have been talking about it for a while. First of all, the AMA is the institution that is close to the powers to determine whether an area has been designated for hawkers
or not,
to hawk, or traders to trade. So it has the sole responsibility of determining where people should do their trading or their business activity. Because the AMA is the planning authority. So if now it has decided that, it's going to give a human face to dealing with issues of unauthorized hawkers, I think it's a good idea. But the problem that I have with local government authorities, in this regard, is that they set back pretty too long to allow people to engage in unauthorized activities for a longer period. Then when the situation is getting out of hand, then they want to apply maybe sometimes brute force or something to deal with it. So they are city managers. So when the issue,
Mr. Bafor, let's move the conversation. You've stated clearly that this is a good idea. Let's focus on that. You have said that this is a good idea. I beg your pardon. You said that this is a good idea, and hello, Mr. Che Bafor, can you hear me?
In order to minimize the effect or the consequences on the business of people.
Mr. Che Bafor, if you can hear me, I want us to focus on what you've just said. You've established clearly that in your opinion, this is a good idea. I want you to tell me, as a local governance expert, you've told us that you have made the suggestions severally. Tell me, in the scheme of things, how you would want this to work, how you would want the systems to be managed or operated so that it will work. So we will contrast that to what the AMA's position is.
Well, first of all, I think that the AMA would have to clearly demarcate and determine areas where people can stay and sell their wares. If indeed, like the Numo is telling us, they have determined a red line beyond which people should not hawk, I think it's okay. You go to several cities, even in Europe, there are people who sell, along streets, but they don't sit on the pavement. They allow free pedestrian flow, and then they do their business. So that's the way they should go. They will have to indicate which specific areas along the roads that people can stay and walk without necessarily interfering with vehicular and pedestrian traffic. That's the way they should.
Right, Mr. Chebafo, we're grateful for your time. Thank you very much, Mr. Chebafo. Let's return to the studio. Numo Blafo. So Chebafo, who's a local governance expert, thinks this is a great idea. So it means that he is in favor of a policy that will ensure that you have proper demarcations where hawkers are supposed to stay, what their responsibilities will be during the period of hawking. Is there a limit to how long they can stay on a particular street? What is the plan? What is the key blueprint or strategy for the implementation of this red line policy and humaneness that you've just told me about?
Let me say that the red line policy is actually the humane phase of the AMA in implementing or doing these decongestion exercises, because we've done decongestion exercise where people cry, human rights, people are talking about people's rights being infringed upon, but then we forget about the pedestrian. Because if you tell me that the pavement where people are selling, we are driving them from that place so that they will not actually do what they have to do to live, then you want to tell me that those who were also considered in using the road so that the pavements were constructed, their freedoms have not been infringed on. It is a wrong issue, because in constructing a road, other users are considered. So the pavements have been created, and we now are faced with this situation of hawkers. And you see, hawking itself is about you carrying your wares and moving around. You don't stay at a particular place to
pitch there and have a store there. Trading. I mean, we've seen a lot happening at Zongo Junction.
Yeah, so
it's unbelievable.
As we're saying, yes, we have to use an human face or whatever to do our decongestion exercises, and we've done it severally. The AMA have done it severally, and we've seen what
the
has
challenges
happened.
And now you are going to add the human face.
Since last year, that human face had been brought in to the extent that, I would say that culminated in the issue of the red line policy, whereby we're looking at the extent of the pavement. Let's say if it is about 2 feet or 3 feet, can we give 1 foot to the traders so the pedestrian can also use the 2 feet to walk so that they won't be competing with vehicles on the road? And it worked to the extent that the traders, when we advise them that look, they do generate a lot of refuse because of where they say they eat, they drink, they do everything, they leave the refuse there. AMA have to spend money to remove all those garbage. So why don't they even get in some litter bins, put in front of them, use it, and even those passers by, and you will be amazed how
it worked.
It worked to the extent that when you are passing and you drop this sachet rubber,
they themselves
will ask you to pick it and put it in
the bin.
You understand?
So
it isn't the new.
I want us to go through the plan again. I mean, I need to have a better understanding. We have a lot of streets. We have the La Paz congestion is becoming a problem. If you drive through La Paz, even at midnight, there are people hawking on the street. So I need you to tell me specifically.
Let me tell you something, or let's explain it for people to understand.
That's
that the median, for example, this is the road, there's a median You can't do anything within the median because that place is naturally for pedestrians. Because people crossing from one side to the other side will have to rest there and then look on the other side before they cross. So when you are encroached on that space, that one, we will not allow you.
So AMA is removing people who are encroaching
in areas. We will not allow you. We won't even allow you to sell on the street because we have laws. And in fact, the laws we have isn't about only the AMA, but the police, the MTTD, also have those laws to make sure that people will have to cross the road where it has been approved that they should cross. So you see, it isn't an issue of only AMA, but it is a concerted effort between the citizens, AMA, and even the security for, say, the police, MTTD, so that we can all enforce this law.
Right.
But then, all have been left for AMA. We are doing what we are doing our part. But all I'm saying is that, look, we will be able to succeed if the citizenry will abide to discipline.
So are you giving yourself timelines to starting and completing?
No, we're beginning from tomorrow.
Beginning from tomorrow.
We're beginning to, if we haven't come to where you are, that doesn't mean AM is not working.
Coming. So is this going to be replicated among the local assemblies, other local assemblies like Lang, Kwantanang Municipal Assembly?
Let me explain
and
something.
The rest?
We are autonomous of each other.
So you don't
AMA
know
only has authority within its jurisdiction. We cannot cross our jurisdiction.
Right, no more Blafo. I'm afraid we have to wrap our conversation. I'm grateful for your time.